Hello, everyone. As I have done during the last few years around this date, I write my visions, my thoughts, and my projections on the economy. Normally, it has been a lot easier to anticipate the behavior of the economy based on the present conditions, the government actions, and general projections. However, at the present time, I can say this is one of the most difficult times to anticipate an outcome since all the variables are distorted. Everybody's asking me with anxiety, hoping for positive answers. What's going to happen with the unemployment? What's going to happen with the mortgage crisis? Are the real estate prices going to start a recovery? What's going to be the bank disposition as far as lending? Is the economy going to grow? We shall do what as far as our personal strategies? Let me give you a summary of what 2009 was before we try to answer some of these questions. 2009 has been a very complicated year, has been signaled by tumult and above all by uncertainty for the common citizen who needs to know what's going to happen if more suffering lies ahead. All aspects of organized life, of organized economy have suffered. And if we were going to grade the year, it would not get more than a C minus, not quite an F, because as long as we're alive, we have the opportunity to change things. We have witnessed the bankruptcy of large automakers, large insurance companies, small, medium, and big banks have also gone out of business. Many individuals have lost their places of job, their employments, their savings, and their homes. It has also been a year of important decisions and actions on the side of the government to try to stop and change these trends. We might disagree, I personally disagree with the way some of these policies were implemented, but we have to give some justice to the fact that otherwise we would be at this moment in a different position. Let's discuss a little bit our vision and projections on the employment. Employment, as you know, is one of the most sensitive areas of the economy since it has an impact in the rest of the social chain. Unemployment, I estimate, is going to be between 10 to 17%, including those that are paid with a W-2 and those that are independent contractors that receive a 1099. Both are reported in a different manner. However, they both have the same impact on the unemployment level. At the present time, and this is the reality, there are new sources of employment. Asia, on the other hand, continues to produce all kinds of goods at much lower prices than the United States. They are able to do that because they have simply a different standard of living. The country demands a structural reengineering in order to be able to generate stable employment sources. Otherwise, we will continue living in fright and shock. Clean energy programs are important. However, those industries are supported on their politically correctness, and they are at this moment still economically inefficient. And for this reason, it will take time for them to have a substantial impact on employment generation. On the other hand, labors continue to be cheaper and more accessible in other parts of the world. If we allow other countries to take the initiative on the fabrication of wind turbines and on the solar panels, our economy will continue to struggle and will continue to be falling behind in disadvantage. My recommendations to you all is those who have a salary, those who have a job, better take care of it because the circumstances will continue to be very unstable. Let's cover a little bit the market as far as foreclosures and the projections of the prices of real estate. Foreclosures are neither to stop nor to be reduced at this moment. In fact, we could even experience some accelerations due to weaker commercial sector on the real estate side that start to impact also the market. When a bank has a non-performing note that is collateralized by a mortgage, it has the obligation with the stockholder and with the federal authorities to collect on that note. We are watching some participation of the government trying to assume some of these foreclosures through the special programs. However, this has not proved to be effective yet because the numbers of loans that have been modified are relatively small compared with the amount of problems that we have in the economy at this moment. Real estate prices began to reduce the following speed ratio of the last 24 months. We can already see certain pockets of recovery. And as soon as the market begins to pick up, we should see a 4 to 5% appreciation due to the natural supply and demand, which means that within 5 years, we could see a recovery of around 25%, obviously with the exception of those property that has been acquired recently at very low price, which could have a different behavior. On the other hand, the country population continues to grow, and this is helping to absorb the inventories. We have to be very careful because the inflation could catch us by surprise, and that will require additional modifications or additional attitudes. In some regions, the salaries need to catch up with the prices, and this is a very important factor because if you make $40,000 a year, you cannot purchase a $250,000 home. And there are still many individuals waiting for prices to fall a bit more before making their purchase decision, the purchase move. Let's talk a little bit about the banks. What is the trend of the banks? Are they going to lend or not? Well, this might sound a little bit unpleasant, but the banks currently do not have real incentives to lend. It is difficult for a bank to assume a risk in a 5% mortgage or 6% mortgage when they can move some of those lending capabilities through the overnight rate, lending the money to other banks, thus reducing obviously the risk. We have all witnessed how the limit of the credit card have been cut to a minimum and interest rates have gone to dismal levels. On the other hand, foreign investors that were all over the markets have now vanished, and with them, the secondary market, making lending very scarce. In the United States, we have greater safety and better warranties than in some other parts of the world. But with interest rates so low, it's difficult to attract capitals. On the other hand, if interest rate is increased before the domestic market recovers, then the whole economy is impacted. And this is the big dilemma that we still need to resolve, that still lays ahead of us. Let me give you some conclusions, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about Hanel thoughts. And it's that the circumstances are not good nor bad. They just are. Everything is part of our life. It's part of the learning experience that we have. It's part of your challenge. It's part of being here. You must accept that you are the one creating the largest part of your own reality, of your own destiny. Part of it was already pre-recorded, and it was written in your genetic code. And it's also part of your inheritance. Some of it has been molded by your education and your families, but the majority of it can be changed and adapted into something better. If we internalize the forces of the universal nature, we understand that it can be used outside of ourselves and that we can direct the strengths of the Spirit in the direction that we desire in order to enhance our life. And this is what America needs. Happy New Year 2010 for all of you. I am Tulio Rodriguez. See you next time.